Hello, my name is Lynda Brown, and welcome to Meet the Candidates. It's my pleasure to bring this one-to-one question and answer forum to you. You know, in speaking with people around town, it's come to my attention that sometimes folks don't really know who might be running for a particular office, or even at times who's representing them presently. So this is one way for residents to get to know who's running for what office and to get to know a little bit more about the candidate and the issues that are important to them. I'll be asking local candidates questions that are pertinent to the office that they're seeking. They'll be about different issues facing the city and getting their responses and what they would do to either change or build on these issues. Now, notices inviting candidates to join in on this forum were sent out to all who are running. The ones that you'll be seeing in the interviews are candidates that responded. However, before I start, I'd like to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to HC Media for opening their studio to me along with the help of their wonderful staff and equipment. So much goes into being able to do something like this, and I appreciate it so much. They are one of Haverhill's gems. So, we're going to get started with our first candidate. I'm here right now with Councilor Colin LePage. How are you?
Good. How are you, Lynda?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thank you so much for wanting to come in and do this. It's really wonderful of you. But we're going to get right in it because time is of the essence.
Okay.
So before we get started, could you please tell everybody a little bit about yourself, away from politics, that something that we might not know about you?
I'm taller than everyone thinks I am. Okay.
Oh, it's always good, right?
I'm taller than what everyone thinks I am. If folks don't know, I'm not sure. I've been on the council for 10 years, so I'm going to hope that they know. I've lived in the city for 22 years. I moved here with my family. I have 4 children. I have 3 grandchildren. And I just do as much as I can for the city in the time that I can.
Thank you. Now, why have you decided to run for re-election?
I like to think that I've learned enough things in my time. This is my 5th term here. I can tell you that when I first started, I didn't know a lot of things.
Sure.
And there's no preparation. There's no, you have to kind of know a lot about things. You don't want to be a jack of all trades, but on my time, I've been kind of termed as like the recycling councilor, then the green councilor, and now I like to think it's, they talk about the budget and stuff like that. So I've gotten to have like a niche, I like to think, of different things. And all of us councilors and all those who want to be councilors, I'm sure they bring different things to the table. But,
absolutely.
But there's no real kind of job to start off with. But I did volunteer work. I ran the baseball league in the city. I was a part of Team Hero. I joined a bunch of different committees and things. So I've always wanted to do what I can give back. Because simply, personally, it makes me feel good about myself that I can do things if I'm capable of doing that.
And you really are a public servant when you do something like that, absolutely. So let's get into a couple of more questions. What do you think is the most important city issue that you as a councilor, would like to see this next city council tackle?
Well, we have things that are ongoing. So first of all, I would hope to be on the next city council to be able to go forward with that.
Absolutely.
But I think one of the things we're seeing at the moment, and we have many issues, unfortunately. We have issues concerning gangs and the, what's happening with kids and what opportunities they have, which if they don't have opportunities, they go into gangs. So we have a crime issue that we have going on. We don't have enough employment within Haverhill for things going on. We have folks concerned about how much taxes are and stuff like that. So economic development is an important thing to bring. So there's a lot of things that are interconnected, so I don't say that there's one, and then unfortunately there's other issues that we have. I see in the questions we'll get to.
Absolutely.
That we have to try to take care of. It's a lot of things to do, so I won't say that that's the one most important topic, because I think a lot of them are interconnected, and sometimes you don't see that immediately.
Right, exactly.
But education's one that there's a lot of things. If we can do a lot of prevention, not just with children, but in other things, a lot of the problems that we have might not surface.
It takes a village, doesn't
It does.
It really does.
It really does, and it's just not just one person is going to be able to solve it all. We need to have a good team of people working for that.
I totally agree. And you mentioned a little bit about economic development. We see a lot of that happening, not just downtown, but a lot of areas of Haverhill. How would you encourage that to be continued and bringing kind of employment into that?
Well, one of the things, unfortunately, through what the city's gone through in the last 20-odd years is we've downsized a lot of departments and such. So we've lost a lot of being able to get opportunities. So sometimes we have opportunities of things that we miss, in my opinion, because we don't have the staff. We seem to be going from crisis to crisis. So our economic development is a very small group of folks. And we need to be able to advertise to folks to come here. We have 5 exits off 495. We have a ton of area. We have industrial parks and such. And we have a lot of human resources right here.
Absolutely.
But we just haven't put them in. We have a master plan committee that's working, that's frankly has been out of date for quite some time. So we haven't had this dialogue for a long period of time. So I think we're doing somewhat catch up to other communities as far as where we should be. We've kind of had an issue with the Hill Hospital and let that really kind of define us for maybe possibly too long a period of time. And I think we really need to look and see what we can do, and then get a lot of new folks and new ideas coming in. Sure. I think we also have a lot of old ideas how it was, and it's great to know the history of things. But I also look that you should learn from history, good, the good and the bad of history.
That's
so you don't,
both sides of
right?
that.
The successes to history that you keep doing those, and then if there's mistakes, you try not to replicate those mistakes.
I agree with that. Now let's get something a little easier to go on, talk about. Let's talk about, you probably saw, I know I read about Lowell. They're changing their city council, how they're going from at-large councils to councils that will represent wards. But I think they might be doing, like, keeping a couple for at-large. What's your opinion of how that would work for Haverhill?
From what I've seen, I've heard this question come up a few years ago, and I think that, as I said with the master plan, we should always be looking, we're evolving. We should look and see what's going on like that. So the issue with Lowell, from my understanding, is they're looking and say that there's a small population of folks that are running the entire city because the opportunities might not be there, or folks can't get enough people to know about them. So I could tell you, so when I campaigned, the first time I ran, I didn't win, unfortunately. But I had this impression that the people I know and friends and such, like, you do well, you're popular, do all this, and it was very. And unfortunately, I knew just before, like weeks before, that I wasn't going to win. Just because I realized how big the city was and how many different people, how diverse it is and stuff like that. So it's hard. So when I did, going door to door, knocking, you get to get a better idea of the young and the old and all the different relationships that are going on like that. So it's seen, and I can say this, I am a white male. I'm not the oldest on the council. By any means, I'll say, even though I said I was a grandfather.
Absolutely.
But there's, making sure that everyone's in touch with that and how that is. And Haverhill is changing, and there's more groups of folks that they want to be heard, and they should be heard. And it's hard to know that. So I've heard the arguments pro and con, or what people think of pro and con toward it, but we're one of the very few that is still the way we are. And it's been discussed in recent news. You saw it's been 50 years that we've had this charter the way it is.
I've seen that.
So I think you should review things, and I think you should look at it and say, how does it really reflect what the community is? I mean, some of the times I'll say when I talk about the budget is that reflects what our priorities are. And if we're not putting money towards certain things, and that, remember what I said, that's not really what our priority is. So if we want to have more folks, we have to make them feel included.
That's right. We have to do that. And I suppose that there are pros and cons to
it's
whether
a
it's
matter
large.
of opportunity and where it's all folks like that. But I mean, you could see through past councils and such where more councils have been in what areas.
Absolutely. Well, Council, I just wanted to ask you, you are so busy and you do so many things. What do you do to relax?
To relax. Okay, so one of my favorite things is going out walking, and when I'm out walking, I like to have some material with me, and I walk around and I go into different neighborhoods and such, and I like to knock on folks' doors and ask them how things are going. But besides that, bike riding I like to do, play some golf. Spend time with my family and such, and just things. I do a lot of puttering around the house. I'm always doing little modifications, little remodeling the house. I've made a whole new house from what I had when I bought it the first time.
You're busy. Well, I see your face around a lot, and I know how involved you are. But let me ask you this. People, obviously, that's why we're doing a format like this, so people can get in touch with you. What is the best way if people, want to find out about your campaign?
Should I do this again?
Or,
I'll
if they have questions, about something in the city.
So my campaign, this is my website. I've
Yep.
Uh,
had this for a while. So
Great.
vote Colin.com.
Perfect.
So things that I've done, things that I have interest in and such are on there. Is city council issues. So this is election kind of things, but it works both ways.
Perfect.
My city council, my email is clepage
Okay.
at cityofhaverhill.com. On our council website, all of our contacts there. My phone number, my home phone number is 978-372-8727. And however someone wants to reach out to me, I'm new to Twitter, so I don't know. I have Facebook, and I've been doing that for quite some time. So folks have direct messaged me that way also. So I like to hope that they can reach out on things.
That's perfect. Where we have seniors or to the very young, they all use different avenues.
Right, and that's why I'm trying to expand.
Absolutely, I think it's
so.
really
My daughter
good.
helps me a little bit. So how does this Instagram thing work?
Our kids, they can do anything. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming in, and the best of luck to you in your campaign. And thank
We're
you.
all done?
We are done. We are all done. You did a great job. See,
All right, that
we
was
had some
great.
fun. Thanks so much, Colin.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.